channel. This is my channel, Asparagus Reading, and my name is Aspasia. So today we're going to be talking about my January reading plans for 2021 and some of my general goals for 2021. If you're only here for one of those things, I will leave the timestamps down below. Let's just get into this. I'm going to do the goals first because that's a little bit easier to explain and get through. The first one is to lower my physical TBR to at least 20 to 25 books. I think the last time I counted, there's a video of it on my TikTok, there's like 30 something, 40 something. I think it was 35 under the books on my physical TBR, and I really like to lower that some more, especially since next year I really like, for another goal, to primarily read books that I already own, Kindle and ebooks, audiobooks, physical books, whatever I own, and then my library. So I think that'll be very helpful towards lowering my TBR. Sort of on the same note, I would like to do more unhauls and buying books less. I do have quite a few books on this shelf and then other bookshelves around the house that's shared among the family that I feel like I don't care for or they don't care for. So I feel like it's time to just give them away to someone else that might care more. So I think I'm going to just get a big box, put a bunch of the books in there, and just drop them off at Goodwill or the local library if they're taking them right now. I know the pandemic is making things a little weird. On the buying less note, I would like to buy more books that I'm like 80 to 90% sure I'm going to like or have already read and really enjoyed, and buy less of pretty books or things that I think I'm gonna like, because those tend to sit on my shelves for a really long time, or I don't like them and they sit there. I want my shelves to reflect me as a reader and things that I really liked, and I don't think having unread or disliked books on my shelves do that. Similar note to completing my physical TBR, I would like to go through and read as much of my arcs as possible, just because that is what an arc is for, to give them to someone before the book comes out and to have them review it for you to help get that interest and etc. out there for other readers. And I feel like, I don't know how to explain it. I had one job and I failed at it, so I really want to make sure I get caught up on that. Also, I would really like to clear out my Neck LA TBR. I do have 15, I think it's 14 now, because I did finish one this morning. I do have a couple books that I really want to get through and get reviews for all of them, because some are carrying over from 2020. I think there's like one or two from 2019. And so I want to make sure I get all those cleared out and ready to go, get to at least 100% when it comes to my ratings, and then start to request more, because I don't want like look a little crazy before I request, because I have seen some people whose Net Galley list is like 50 something, and I was like, can't do that. That's a little too overwhelming for me. I would also just in general like to review more. I feel like a lot of my reviews from last year and previous years have been terrible and more of like thoughts and opinions and random comments on it, and I want to do more thorough reviews where it actually helps people when they want to read the book. So talk about trigger warnings, talk about things I really liked and didn't like, character growth, etc. And so I have started that a little bit this year. I am filming this in December. I have already started that a little bit, just because some of those reviews are like 6 paragraphs. So it's a little bit time consuming, but I do really like that it's more thought out and gives more information and details for other people who want to read the book. And so I'm hoping for next year that I could do at least 50 reviews. I think I hit 50, if not more, this year. So I'm hoping I could do the same amount, if not even more, next year. For my Goodreads reading challenge, I think I'm going to keep it at 100. I have been able to hit 100 the past, I think, 2 years, maybe a third year, and I want to see if I can do it again. However, I know next year is going to be a busier year where I'm reading thicker books, longer books, certain series that get longer as they go, so I do feel like my reading pace is going to slow down, but I would like to try reading 100 books again. I also like to try participating in at least 6 readathons and winning. I did try to do a whole bunch this year and failed at like 98% of them, and I did do a lot better the last 2 months of 2020. But for 2021, I want to do at least 6 and win those 6. I really want to really pick one that I really want to do and then put a lot of time and effort into that. I would also like to attempt to do a special or theme vlog each month. So one of them might be reading like every loves books, or another video would be like someone chose my books for a month or something like that. I just want to do more creative videos but I'm probably gonna do it in vlog format just because I prefer vlogs other than over sit down videos. I think vlogs are more fun and more me. They show more of me than a sit down video do. So if you have any ideas of like not scripted, fun, random, creative, special theme vlogs I should do, let me know down in the comments. And I think that is all of my reading goals, YouTube goals, etc. So let's just get into the books I want to read in January. Alright, so I did originally plan to do a small TBR for January just because I'm starting my winter semester, which is about 2.5 weeks. And then I think the following weekend, when that ends, I start my spring semester. So I wasn't really sure how busy I would be just because that is one class plus another 5. Depending on if I kept all of those, I might drop one. Just, depending on how busy it is. And my TBR is now like 12 books. I went from 6 to 12. Big yikes. So the first book I have here is Where Dreams Descend, which is a book about a group of magicians who face off in a game to find their next headliner, their next like lead person for their circus. But suddenly they find themselves in a very dangerous, area, I guess. They are now surrounded by a really big threat, and there's a danger lurking behind the circus curtains, and they kind of have to figure out what is going on, solve what's going on before they're all, injured, dead, missing, etc. I'm going to be reading this for the Buzzword-thon for January. I believe the prompt is Dream, and like I said, the title is Where Dreams Descend. I do already have it right now on Libby, so I'm probably going to start at like midnight on New Year's, so I have heard a lot of really good reviews about it, so I'm excited to pick that one up. And I don't really read a lot of circus books. I read Carnival, didn't like it. I attended Night Circus, put it down like 3 times, so I'm hoping that this one I like. The next book is All Stirred Up, which is a book about a girl named Susan whose family is used to living in a very lavish life, I guess. They have ran multiple high-end, very successful restaurants, but unfortunately, when some bad luck happens and some very terrible management come through, they end up having to close down many of those restaurants and have financial struggles except for one restaurant, and that is called Elliot's. Susan is now having to face some trials and errors as she tries to fix Elliot's and help save that restaurant, hopefully save the financial issue with her family, and possibly open up more restaurants, or at least open the previous ones that they used to have. However, it turns out her ex-boyfriend, also her grandfather's former protege, has also come back to town because he also wants to open a restaurant. Things start to get a little wild and tensions start to rise when her restaurant is still really struggling and his restaurant starts to do really well. It really does put a damper on their relationship as friends and also the budding relationship that they might be having again. This is an arc that I have from Nick Alley, so that's going to be the first one, hopefully, that I read and finish in January, or at least in 2020 in general. And I will be reading that for the Book New Year readathon, and I will leave a link for that down below. That's my dog, if you can hear that. She's getting a little restless. I have her locked in here because my mom's cleaning the bird cage and she keeps freaking out. The next book I'm going to read is She's Too Pretty to Burn, which is called... The next book I'm going to read is She's Too Pretty to Burn, which is about 2 girls, Veronica and Nico, who are best friends, and they also happen to be artists, but they do 2 different formats of art. They have always made art number 1 a little bit over their friendship. However, that does start to change a little bit when they meet someone named Mick. So Veronica starts to fall very, very hard for Mick, and I believe Mick falls for them as well. I'm not really sure where Nico comes in this. Doesn't really explain it in the description. But as the 2 of them get closer, their summer gets a little wild and a little bit scary. It becomes the summer that they don't know if they're going to survive. There are fires, there's murders, bodies that are found drowned. There's multiple suspects, a stalker, and more. I was expecting a cute little contemporary romance, but all of that, I'm here for it, and I'm ready. That will also be for the Bookworm Year readathon. I also will be reading for the readathon What I Like About Me, which is about Maisie, who has entered a beauty pageant. And Maisie's honestly kind of shook that she even decided to do that, just because she has been living her entire life hiding her body, hiding how she looks, and kind of just being not really confident, not very comfortable with anything about herself. And so for her to enter a pageant where you basically showcase that, it's kind of like, what am I doing? So as she enters this pageant and goes through all the, things that a pageant holds, just to realize that maybe it's okay to be who she is and like what she likes and does what she does, and it's okay to be different than everybody else. And I'm assuming she gradually gains some confidence in herself, and I'm really excited to read that. I think that would be a very great book for many, many people right now. There's also going to be a Grishaverse read along that is hosted by a couple people on BookTube and Instagram, so I'll leave a link to that video as well down below. I have just recently joined the hype for the Grishaverse universe fandom, etc., by reading the Sister Crow's duology, and so now I want to reread all of them and catch up with the rest of the world. So the point of this read along is to read all of the Grishaverse books leading up to the newest release, and also try to watch the Netflix show as we read, which comes out in April. And for January, we do have two books that we're going to be reading, and that is Shadow and Bone, which is the first in a trilogy following Alina that has entered a lavish world of royalty and intrigued to train with the Grisha, and falls under the spell of their leader, the Darkling. He believes she can summon a powerful force if only she can master it. As threats arise, secrets come to the surface, causing Alina discovering something that could threaten what we love, or what she loves, in the future that she knows. A lot of people say it's not as good as Six of Crows, but I don't know, that description sounds a little juicy, and I'm here for it. Another book I like to read, which will be a buddy read with one of my friends, is When Villains Rise, the sequel to Not Even Bones. That book is about a girl who has helped her mother sell some body parts of monsters and creatures that she has caught and killed, and she basically dissects them and packages them and get them ready for shipment and sells them online, kind of like the deep dark web marketplace. And one day her mother comes home with a boy, a younger boy that is alive, and she's not about it, so she basically helps him escape, and the book follows her journey after that, and it is just a wild, crazy ride. If I were to name a book rated R, that'd probably be one of them, or at least maybe PG-14, read at your own, just be warned. There are some graphic scenes in there, and are some triggering things in there. So I'll be reading that with my friend, and if I do finish that pretty quickly, I think we're going to go on to read Grown. And the next book I'm probably going to be reading is A Tale of Magic, and this is by Chris Colfer. It is similar to his previous series, The Land of Stories. This follows Bristol Evergreen, I believe her name is, where she goes to the library and she finds a secret section of the library, and also finds a book that introduces her to an amazing world beyond anyone's imagination. She also finds out that she is a fairy, capable of magic, which is pretty wild, right? However, as she goes to this world, she finds out that in the Southern Kingdom, women are oppressed and not supposed to be reading any kind of books or using any kind of magic, but she didn't know that until, she got convicted and tried. So she has been sent to this correctional facility to kind of, fix her ways. However, that isn't very successful because someone comes and saves her and sends her to a magical academy where she goes to classes with other people and learns how to use her magic and learn the history of magic and her abilities. However, that person that helps her ends up going on another journey and does not return. And so now her and her classmates have to go on another wild journey to really figure out what is this sinister plot that's going on that might threaten their magic in the world, and what happened to, I think it's their professor. I'm not really sure what exactly the person is, but they do have to go and hopefully save them. I'm excited to read this one just because I really enjoyed the Chris Colfer series. However, I did feel like it's a little too long. Some people have said this is better than the Chris Colfer series if you would prefer a little less fairy tale, a little bit more magic, and I'm here for it, so I'm excited for that. The next book that is coming from Libby is From Blood and Ash. I was expecting this to come in March, but I guess all them people are flying through it, so I guess it is really good. From Blood and Ash is the first in a trilogy, fantasy trilogy by Jennifer L. Armentrout, which follows a girl named Poppy who's about to have her ascension to become a maiden. The maiden is basically living in solitary. They can't have physical touch, can't be falling in love, can't have people hold eye contact with them, something like that. But for her to have her ascension, she has to go on this journey to do something wild and help the kingdom. I guess the kingdom's future now rests in her hands. I don't really know, but I have heard a lot of good reviews, and it's been raved about everywhere. A lot of people say that if you're not really interested in Sarah J. Maas, you might like this. Or if you like Sarah J. Maas, you might like this better. So, on my way. Also, I heard it's a very steamy romance, and we love a good romance in a fantasy. I mean, I hate when they be making out and doing 1-2 in the middle of the end of the world, but like, am I complaining? No, I'll eat it up. And the last book I like to read is Dress Codes for Small Towns, which is about Billy, and she's a tomboy who hasn't really felt like she fits the mold that she's supposed to be, hasn't really felt like she blends in with everyone else, hasn't really do what a girl is supposed to do or supposed to be. One day, one of her best friends tells her that they are in love with her, and Billy realizes she also might be in love with her best friend, and which is a girl. I think the girl's name is like Janie or Jamie. But then she also realizes she's also in love with one of her other friends, which is a guy named Woods. So that's about to be a wild journey. But the issue with that is, I don't want to say issue. Well, yes, it is a bit of an issue. She doesn't really know what her sexuality is. Hasn't really thought about it that much since her father is a preacher. Preacher? Why can't I priest? Why does that sound wrong? That doesn't even sound like a word. I don't even know what's going on. And so she has to go through this journey of really figuring out what her sexuality is, figuring out who she is, and where she kind of fits in this world and in this mold of this town, and also just becoming comfortable with who she is and not letting other people label her or tell her what she has to be. So I'm really excited for that one. I think that one and what was the other one? What I Like About Me are going to be very good books that could possibly have a really good discussion about these things going on in society. So I'm excited to read that one. I think that is all the books I'm going to be reading for January. If anything, I'll probably be reading some textbooks, but as of right now, it says there's no textbooks available for spring 2021. So I'm like, okay, sounds good to me because your girl is broke. So yeah, if you have read any of these books or have any thoughts on them, please let me know down below. And if you haven't read any of these books or just don't want to spoil anything or whatever, let me know some books that you plan to read for January. I'm interested to see if people are like picking up new releases or picking up things I hadn't finished from last year or starting their goals early. Like, let me know what you're doing. Let me know what's happening. And I'll see you in the next one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good day, afternoon, night, or whatever time it is that where you are.